what they do, because they're racist, and by the way, with them, everything is projection. When they're talking about racist, they're talking about themselves. So when they started doing this DEI and all this other stuff, it became like you'd see like a young black man walking through the quad at Harvard, and people go like, is he really here because he's that smart, or did they just pull him in here because they...
Hello, everybody. Guys, this has to be one of the most racist podcast interviews I've ever seen. This is the Trigonometry podcast. Huge following. Guys, let's get right into it. Really disgusting stuff.
Yeah, I feel that way about calling everyone you disagree with a racist. It's like you cannot possibly, Mitt Romney can't be racist, Trump's racist. Everybody is racist.
But only when they run for president, right? Because Trump wasn't racist before that. He was celebrated as this great American business guy, right?
Guys, I'm sorry for pausing it that quickly. Are you kidding me? Trump and the Central Park 5, when he took out that whatever newspaper ad to get these people killed, 5 young black and Hispanic men, and then when they were found to be innocent, he didn't apologize when asked about it. Really, the guy who got in trouble because his company was denying leases to black Americans with the same financial conditions as white Americans? Are you serious?
He said there's never been a better time to be an actual racist, because you just get lumped in with me and Trump and you guys and Dave Rubin and Dennis Prager. You just get lumped in with all these luminaries.
Yeah, and it's
yeah, all these great people, Nick Fuentes, the KKK, these white nationalists, right? This is such a great group. And this guy saying that everyone you disagree with, you call racist, that's just not the case. If you're disagreeing about something that has to do with the economy, you're just going to call them racist? No, but if you say racist things, or you know that this person has said disgusting racist things and still support them, even past those racist things, then yes, I think it's fair to call you racist, or at least that you could care less about anything racism because it doesn't affect you.
so interesting because I was in two minds about this election. I didn't know who was going to win. I kind of, be honest with you, I kind of had, because we're in such a bubble, I had an inkling that it might be Kamala. And I was saying to Constantine, I think it might be Kamala. Maybe we're just in a bubble. And then I saw that tweet of hers where she was calling people fascist. And then I thought, oh, that's a sign of somebody who's losing and knows they're losing. The moment you start smearing people as fascists, that's the moment you've lost any type of argument or discussion.
Well, also, what I never really get, and it doesn't seem effective, is if you would like to make a case against somebody, you should do it, but when you paint in these very broad strokes, it kind of lands on deaf ears, and it's a lot of it is a sort of has a feminine quality to it. When you get into arguments with a woman, she'll go, "You're the worst husband ever born." Listen, you live in 8,000 square feet.
Guys, these are what these nut jobs are being taught. That if you call out racism or call out something that's fascistic, literally using Hitler's word for words to talk about immigrants or the Democrats, God forbid you say that was racist. And they just don't want to be labeled things that they know for a fact that they are. They know it's just a bad connotation that comes with that, right? They can't walk around freely and just call themselves racist. This is the problem. They want us to just take it, just shut up about it. If we call you racist, if we say that you're less than and you don't deserve this job because you're black or Hispanic, whatever, just shut up and take it. Stop calling people racist. Stop calling people fascists. Just shut up and take it.
I've never put hands on you, so I got him cracked. Maybe I'm in the top 5, but I can't be the worst ever born. You know what I mean? Where's my belt, bitch? It's like they do this thing and then it doesn't work. If they would go, look, you don't listen a lot of the time when I'm talking, you seem not to want to engage or something, then you'd have to kind of go, maybe I am kind of guilty of tuning out or something. They go, worst father ever born or worst husband ever born, and we're back to, and that's what they do, which I love, is they go, Trump is Hitler, and he's old, and then he's going to die in office, and J.D. Vance is going to take over, and it's going to be worse. Another worse than Hitler. So you got Hitler.
How convenient. J.D. Vance has called him Hitler until he saw that, wait a second, my opportunities in power and money in this world is to side with him, and became his VP. These guys are so disgusting. They're plugged into enough. They're not the stupid, conspiracy theorists that fall for fucking anything. These guys know what they're doing and what they're saying.
And then Hitler with mad MMA skills. But I'm not listening because you're crazed hyperbole all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not listening. And also,
again, if someone is constantly saying racist shit, we're going to have to constantly call it out. These guys, you have to understand what's happening. And MAGA people, Republicans out there, pay attention to what they're doing to you. They're manipulating you, manipulating the situation. They want to be able to say things. Don't call it out. Right? If think about it. How far could that go? Don't call anything out then, right? If you see someone getting beat up, no one's getting beat up. Someone's getting murdered. No one's getting murdered. Someone's being beheaded. No one's being beheaded. Like, why call out anything then? These guys are insane.
When it never happens, they never course correct. They just, whatever. Trump's going to be in there. There's not going to be an internment camps. There's no Hitlerian behavior. There's no turning the military on everyone who didn't vote for him. But yet they'll never course correct. They'll just go right back to it.
Yeah, and you just even scratch, not even the surface, but just the light dusting of a layer. And you're like, well, so Trump's Hitler with an Orthodox Jewish daughter who converted. Trump and JD.
Oh, God, these guys are such morons. They're not calling him Hitler because he actually feels like this about the Jewish people. They call him Hitler because of his fascistic tendencies and the things he says. Like shooting reporters and having them shot, he would be okay with that. Or Liz Cheney should be put in front of a shooting squad. It's the fascistic things that he says.
Vance is he?
Media is the enemy of the people. Democrats are poisoning the blood of the people. Immigrants have bad genes.
Even worse than Hitler with an Indian wife.
Right. Oh, no, there is. You can't do any of that stuff where you try to kind of re-engineer stuff and go, how could I be X, Y, and Z? I'm married to an X, Y, and Z, or my children converted to whatever. None of that works. I mean, when they start digging in and going down a road, that's it. You could be Jewish and they would call you a Nazi. It doesn't really matter once they start going down that road.
Yeah. Well, you've been watching this whole back and forth in America.
Guys, this stuff is dangerous. And here on this channel, we're going to always call it out. We're not going to stop calling it out. We're just not. No one is being guys, I have a lot of white friends. No one is calling them. I don't call them racist just for no reason if they disagree with me on something. This is insane. You get called a racist, look in the mirror of why you were called that. And if you're constantly called that, really look deep inside. Guys, really look inside as to why. Look at different outlets. Look at different independent media sources. And see the history of racism.
In politics for a while now. First question, do you think because of the scale of the victory, because he won the popular vote, because he won the presidency, he won the Senate. We're recording this at a time when we don't know if he won the House, but it could happen. He could be just absolutely dominant.
He did win the House. They have all three branches of government.
Media and the Democrats are going to have to actually look in the mirror. Do you think that's going to happen?
I think a segment and a portion of them will do some self-assessment kind of thing. It's like they just stepped on the scale and it said 350 pounds. And a certain amount of them are going to step off the scale and go, I got to lose some weight. But another percentage are going to say, fuck this scale, which is how they work. So it's like,
or the scale's Hitler.
Or the scale's Hitler.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just...
Guys, these guys joke around this. It's the same way they talk about race. Because again, these fuckers have no skin in the game. They know they don't. This is what I continue to say about even some people on the left on YouTube. They have no skin in the game. It's almost like there's no emotion behind their reporting. And with these guys are just sick. Because, again, if Kamala won, these guys know that their life will be fine. They know if Trump becomes the worst version of what the left think he is, these guys will be fine. Be careful about those that don't have skin in the game. And it's not to say that all white people are like this. Of course not. There's a lot of white allies that are on the side, on the left, and really fight against this stuff. Like the Majority Report guys. That YouTube channel, I love those guys over there. Really there for the right reason. Same thing with Roland Martin. But, well, Roland Martin is a black man, but you know what I'm saying.
I was watching some clips of, MSNBC, they're sort of the extreme left, but a lot of the breakdowns of the autopsy from the left, and the autopsy, they go right back to white women. We blame white women for this. They did not vote. They did not support. So what they do, because they're racist.
Guys, let me rewind this a little bit because I don't want to pause it there. We have to catch the whole thing of that. But they're not, yes, of course they're blaming white women because black women overwhelmingly voted for Kamala. It was like 90-something percent. Because they got their back when it comes to abortion, just like they're affected by it. But this racist, disgusting guy, fascist guy, you couldn't have our back this time. And you couldn't vote for Kamala because she was black. Let's just be real. It's not because she was a woman. For those women that voted for her, it's not because she was a woman. It's because she was black.
And by the way, with them, everything is projection. When they're talking about racist, they're talking about themselves. When they're talking about totalitarian, they're talking about everyone's got to get vaccinated. Lawfare. Yeah, it's all them. It's all into a mirror. So what they do is they break everyone off into a race, right? And then they yell at the race that doesn't support their race, because in their mind, if you're black, that guy's black.
We own you.
What are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't know. Maybe I don't like.
Own you? Well, these guys are disgusting. The verbiage that they use. That's not what's happening. It's not because this is a black person you vote for the black person. Of course not. People on the left, black people on the left, hate Byron Donalds. They hate Tim Scott. They hate Candace Owens. Are you serious?
Like his policies, like Obama, 7.2 or whatever.
Guys, you really think if Candace Owens was running for president that the black women on the left and black people on the left would vote for her? Are you out of your mind?
7+ black males out of 10 are going to vote for Kamala Harris, which sounds pretty good if you're Kamala Harris, but it's not good enough for Barack Obama. He wants to find the 2.8 black men who aren't voting for Kamala Harris and yell at them. And it's like, well, maybe they own a small business and maybe they have different interests or priorities than you. But this whole thing is, there's this unqualified, mostly Indian woman over here who you black guys need to vote for because she's going to do, because she's black or half black or something. That's enough. You know what I mean?
Mostly Indian, half black or something black. These guys are just absolutely gross. You have to understand that the bubble these people in. It's not just the young generation that are being fooled. They made old white people conspiracy nuts and feel like there's an attack on them.
And so what they do is they go, black men, black women came through. They're heroes. Black women are great. Those are great. They voted 92% for Kamala. Black guys, a little disappointing that, Mexicans, oh boy, they did not. Someone's got to tell them what's going on. You know what I mean? White men.
God, these three disgusting bigots. This is how, and I know this is how they talk. They think Mexicans are they think it's synonymous with Hispanics. Like all Hispanic people or Latino people are Mexicans. This is how this is what I mean. They don't even want to distinguish against Spanish people. Again, do you think they distinguish treatment of how they treat a black person or a Spanish person? Do you think when they see the Spanish pilot, like that example that Charlie Kirk gave, that they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's not a DEI hire. I trust them. Of course not. They'll see us the same way as they see the black person.
okay, lost cause. White women, what's going on? You know what I mean? And it's like, maybe they like the message of this other person more than the message of the person they share a uterus with. But they can't wrap their mind around it because they're racist, and every group should just vote with every group, which is a racist thought.
Right.
You know, I always say,
Guys, I have 2 more segments to show you. He goes on off a tangent, a stupid story. Think about what he's saying. We're the racists for calling it out. We're the racists for telling black people, hey, this person that you may be thinking about voting and telling Hispanics, they don't have your best interest, and explaining to them why, because the guy's a disgusting racist. And if you think somebody with that ideology, just foundational to who they are going to do anything to benefit your life or your community's life or your next generation's life, are you out of your mind? That's what you do. You don't tell them, oh, hey, everybody, they black, you have to vote for them. Are you serious? It's just disgusting. But guys, let's get to these next 2 segments. This might be the worst part of this whole interview. This thing was over an hour long, but let's get to that.
I think by nature, Republicans are a little more pragmatic, and in the sense that if black women vote overwhelmingly for Democrats. They've been doing this for...
Guys, they think they're pragmatic. They're the realistic ones, the sensible ones. These guys are cultists. This is what I mean. They don't understand that they're in a cult. That anything that that the right says, you just follow it, even when it's not sensible, even when it just doesn't make any sense. Or if it does make sense to you, if you have, fascistic tendencies within yourself too, and if you are racist, which a lot of you guys are. Let's be real. If you're a racist person, you're into politics, are you going to be on the left or on the right? Come on, guys.
60 years, they've got nothing. They've got nothing in return. Now, what they get every year is I see you and you're going to have a seat at the table and, I care about everybody and I'm going to blah, 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 blah. It never happens. They had a 2-term black president. They've had it all. It never works. It doesn't work in their town. It doesn't. They go, we need a black mayor and a black fire chief and a black DA and a black, and it doesn't. It never works. But they do it. I mean, 92% or something that block.
Guys, these guys are just so stupid. You vote for a president and, oh, that's it. All the racism should go away. You get a black mayor. Oh, yeah, all the race, like they don't rely on government resources. Like, this is just insane the way these guys think. Really? You think it's in our best interest? The Democrats, for sure, 100% are not a perfect party. But we only have 2. We only have 2 realistic ones that can get elected. And the other one is just, are you kidding me? Look at the things that are coming out of that side. Immigrants have bad genes. Trump made Obama essentially make his force him, the first president ever, to make him come out with his birth certificate. Calling Kamala not black. Haitians are eating cats and dogs. Really? You think they will have our best interests? Are you out of your effing mind? These cultists, I don't know if they're stupid, they're racist to the core. I don't know what's going on with these guys.
Now, pragmatic people, after about 50 years of nothing working, would go, you know what? I'm thinking about a different direction. Call me crazy, And Democrats, if I don't even consider myself a conservative, but just as a sort of a pragmatic person, if the guy I voted for started doing a bunch of stuff that didn't work and I didn't agree with, I would vote for somebody else pretty quickly. They also, once you subscribe to this Hitlerian stuff, well, then you have to vote for that person, because in LA, we had Gavin Newsom running against Larry Elder. Now, the LA Times called Larry Elder the blackface of white supremacy. So if you said
and for a second, he can't understand why. Why are all these things being called that? Why is Trump constantly being called racist? Why would they call a black man the blackface of white supremacy? Do you not understand the denominator there? Why is this stuff happening? Why is these guys act like we're the delusional ones? Like none of this exists. Racism doesn't exist. Sexism, none of this exists. Hate on the LGBTQ community, none of this exists. You guys are all going crazy. You guys are obsessed talking about it, about race. Guys, this channel exists because these guys cannot stop talking about race and lying about it.
Guys, white supremacist or Hitlerian or in the Klan, that guy doesn't want to raise the price of a parking ticket by $10, but the other guy who's not in the Klan and not Hitler does. I would then, if I believe that, I would go, well, I don't want to raise the price of a parking ticket, but also I don't want to be led by Klansmen, so I will vote for this other guy. So what they do is they go, look, it's a shit show and nothing works and we're broke and homeless and it's a dumpster fire here. But our guy loves people. And the other guy who says he's going to fix all this stuff is a racist. So who would you vote for?
I keep thinking.
You know, it sounds comedic, but it just is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Guys, listen to what they're saying. In a vacuum, that makes sense, right? If you don't like what this party is doing, go with this party. There's only two parties, and one of them is Donald Trump's party and MAGA and what they've become in these past few years, ever since Trump. Let's just be real. The civility in this country has went down the drain. Guys, picture a world. They don't want you to call this stuff out. Picture a world in multi-generations from now that this racism is not even spoken about when it's clearly happening. This is why this channel exists, guys. Because if there's no one to combat this stuff, social media is the new media. Imagine only this kind of stuff was being said to black and brown kids all around the world. That they're just victimizing themselves. They're just making things up. They're just delusional. Guys, that does something to some kids' brains. They'll make them start to think that they're crazy, that they're going crazy. Or to at minimum ignore the oppression, the suppression that's happening to you. These guys are insane. And this is why it connects to everything. It's the same reason why they're okay with having this hatred for immigrants. No matter what you say, no matter that they're committing crimes at a lower rate, it doesn't matter. They're boosting the economy. It doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the skin color. Guys, if there was massive Canadians coming down, I just don't think they would be acting like this. Or at minimum, they wouldn't be using the attacks, racial attacks, racially insensitive attacks, just racist attacks. Guys, but anyways, I got one more segment to show you really quick. These guys are just absolutely insane.
What they did to themselves is when they started doing this DEI shit and all this other stuff, it became like you'd see like a young black man walking through the quad at Harvard, and people go like, is he really here because he's that smart, or did they just pull him in here because they needed? He may belong, and he may have had the highest SAT scores in the land.
He might have been Thomas Sowell or Larry Elder.
Thomas Sowell or the new...
Guys, think about what they're saying. Did they see a black kid walking through a nice college or, right? This is the same thing Charlie Kirk was saying as a pilot or something. Did they really belong there? Normal people don't think of it like that. Are you out of your mind? Normal people do not look at a black man walking through college, a good college, and be like, he's not qualified. And why is this never in history saw of as a white person doing a job? No one ever saw a white person doing a job and thought to themselves, does this person really belong here? Why is that? These guys are insane. They're essentially saying that because you pointed out racism and because you pushed for more representation, more executive positions, and more opportunities in general for people of color, right? That now it's a reverse racism. You made us racist. This is what they're saying. You made us racist. We weren't racist before. We weren't. You just made us racist. Trump, when he did not deny those people homes or whatever, rental leases, whatever it was in his things in the 80s, that wasn't racist. There was no racism back then until now. You just made us racist. Unbelievable argument.
Blackface and white supremacy. Larry Elder, he may be, but you brought questions.
Yeah.
You made us question this thing. And when you make us question, we lose interest fast. And they took their franchises and they grafted all this stuff onto it. And now, literally, I was with my son, who at the time was probably 15 or 16, and he loves films. And we were sitting around one night in our home theater. Middle class. I used to work at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's. And we're sitting in our home theater, and we're just scanning through movies to see new movies I haven't heard of. And we come across this one. It's like a thriller horror movie, and it's literally like 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, well, I've never heard of this film. And we both look at each other, 97%. That sounds pretty damn good for a thriller. And we watch it. And it wasn't good. It was okay, should have been 61% on Rotten. We're like, what's it? Well, it starred a black woman who was the hero who fought the...
Guys, of course, we knew where this was going. These guys are insane. This is the same thing they did with anyone. If you have a black James Bond, like they were talking about with Idris Elba, oh, that's DEI. That's woke. Not because he's one of the best actors. This is insane. But I bet you if he was playing an athlete, a gangster, something like that, that fits into what they believe the black man role should be. These people, I'm telling you, they're insane. I don't think this moron understands how he's coming off. I really don't. I think racism is literally deep in his core. How do you fix people like this moron?
And did the thing. And at the end, we're like, oh, we got burned. Because that's how we do it. But it also made this 15-year-old boy think, oh, they've rigged the system now, and now I have to check, because the critics are all progressive and they root for this, and the voters with the Oscar, the Golden Globes, but it's all become this big DEI fest. And it's ruined the franchise just as it would with the Super Bowl if the quarterback was white and we knew there was a much better black player at quarterback just standing on the sideline. It would hurt. It would hurt it, and we would lose interest in it eventually. Who's starting?
What evidence is that? What evidence is that they're picking someone black who's underqualified? That's just not what's happening. What's really happening in corporate America is, if all else things equal, right? This company is 95% white. All else equal, we get an application of a black person and a white person, and they're equally qualified for the job. Give it to the black person. Not just because they're black, it's because they're qualified and they're underrepresented here. And by the way, it's been proven fact that when you have diversity, you get diversity of thought, and it actually improves the company. Like, these people are sick. They just don't want equality, because that means less mediocre people like him can become multimillionaires and have an easy life. And instead of teaching your son as to why a film like this would be highly rated, instead of teaching the son of the history of racism and the suppression of black people's achievements, show him I forgot that movie, guys, the one with the 4 astronaut women. They're like mathematicians. They were computer geniuses. They helped bring like the first rocket into space. Completely lost in history until that movie was made. These people are just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But I'm going to leave it there. They just keep going on more racist crap. But honestly, some of this stuff is just exhausting to see. But thanks for watching the video. If you got all the way to the end, extra thank you to you guys. Please leave a comment. I read just about all of them. It's fun to read right before bed. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one.